Hey, welcome back. It's JWalter here. Housing affordability is at its lowest levels since 2008. This is according to a new report from Black Knight, which is a data analytics firm that supports the mortgage and real estate industries. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing the latest news regarding this and also an update regarding home prices, housing inventory, and mortgage interest rates. So I have a lot to discuss in today's video, so let's go ahead and dive right in. So this is according to Black Knight. They just released their December 2021 Mortgage Monitor, which is their monthly report about the mortgage industry and the housing market in general. So the headline reads, 2021 sees record $2.6 trillion of tappable equity gain. Home prices reaccelerate on continued inventory shortfall as rising rates increase affordability pressures. I talk about this all the time on the channel with increasing mortgage rates, which is causing home affordability to really decrease quite a bit. So in regards to housing inventory, they say that after beginning to improve this fall, inventory shortfalls began to intensify in the final months of 2021, with the market currently facing a deficit as many as 750,000 missing for sale listings. So we have a lack of housing inventory by potentially up to 750,000 houses listed for sale in the US. With home prices still climbing alongside rising interest rates, the monthly principal interest payment required to buy the average price home with 20% down has risen by 32% since the same time last year. I'm going to be sharing some stats with you regarding how affordability has been decreasing. And this is, of course, because home prices have been increasing at greater levels than wage growth, of course. The mortgage payment on the average home purchase takes 25.8% of the median household income, surpassing the long-term pre-Great Recession average of 25% to mark the worst affordability since 2008. Big issue right now. So this is according to Black Knight. They just released this, was it 2 days ago at the time of this video? February 7th. This is their latest mortgage monitor report. So they state that after a year of historic home price gains, homeowners' tappable equity, the amount available for a mortgage holder to assess while retaining at least a 20% equity stake in their home, has hit an all-time record high, meaning that homeowners can take advantage of getting equity out of their houses because they have enough equity in their homes to begin with. But my takeaway here regarding this is that this is a great headline saying, hey, there's so many people who have the ability to get equity out of their houses, but there's only really two ways of getting equity out of your houses. That is selling your house. That's one option. A second option is doing a cash out refi. But how many homeowners are going to want to do a cash out refi and to refinance to rates that are closer to 4% when they're locked into mortgage rates? A lot of people are locked in mortgage rates less than 3%. I personally have a 2.6% 30-year fixed rate mortgage. Why would I refinance at 3.9 or 4% interest rates right now? So yeah, a lot of people have the ability to tap in equity. I think that a lot of people who maybe need the money, if they're not going to sell their houses, they may do a cash out refi. But when you do a cash out refi, that amount of money you take out typically increases your mortgage payment because it increases your loan balance. So that's my takeaway regarding that. I don't think that this is let me just say, if rates were decreasing and home prices were increasing, then yeah, a lot of people could take advantage of doing a cash out refi. But in an environment like we have right now where rates have increased more than 1% since August, I think that very few people would want to do a cash out refi unless they really need the cash. So regarding that, let's go over how home prices or interest rates have increased. So I go over this quite a bit on the channel. Since August, we had about over a 1% gain. So in August, early August, it was around 2.8%. That was close to all-time high of around 2.75% that were set last year. Right now, mortgage interest rates are around 3.89%. That's as of yesterday. I'll give you guys an update regarding that because rates should increase further. And this is because the 10-year US Treasury note, or the yield on that, which is tied more directly to mortgage interest rates than anything else really, has been increasing greatly. So we look at the rates over the past, let's go look at last year, or this year only really. So ever since January, we had 2.77% at the beginning of January. Now we're at 3.89%. Sorry, now at 3.89%. Sorry, there you go, 3.89%. And this is because the Treasury note on the 10-year US Treasury note has been increasing the yield on that. So at the beginning of January, we were at about 1.6%, and now we're just under 2%, a big increase in a short period of time. And that's going to cause a lot of issues here with home affordability as home prices maybe potentially increase further. We'll have to see. Any case, let's go ahead and dive into the rest of this video here. So Black Knight is saying that their tracking data showed that home price growth was re-accelerating, meaning that it was accelerating earlier in the year, and then it basically plateaued, and then it started to increase again later in the year. So they said they had a re-acceleration of price growth as the year came to a close of 2021. And this is, in fact, during a time when we typically see very low price movement towards really the last half of the year. I have some data to share with you guys regarding this, but it's very common for home prices to remain flat or even go down slightly in the last half of every year because of seasonality in our market. But they say that we had actually an increase of home prices in December by 0.84%, and that was the largest December price growth on record. I have some data to show you regarding that. So here is Redfin. Redfin has some really good data that I like to look at and I like to share with you guys because it's really nice to see how the housing market now compares to the last few years. And it's really easy to do that on their website. If you want the website, it's redfin.com/news/data center. I can leave a link below if you guys want to. So here's 2017 through 2022. So obviously the yellow line here is 2017, and we have 2018, 19, and 20, and then 21, and then now we have 2022. So I want to point out with you guys, they said that we had an acceleration of home price growth in December of last year, and we can see that here. So ever since really the end of September, home prices started to increase, which is abnormal. I would say let's ignore 2020. That was a completely abnormal year. When we look at 2019, 18, and 17, you can see every single year around June and July, home prices tend to peak. This is normal for our housing market as home prices increase during the spring months through the summer months, and then it tends to plateau or go down. We saw that both in 2017, 18, and 19, where home prices tend to decrease. They went up a little bit in 2019, but if you look at past 2018, 17, more or less flat. That didn't happen last year though, right? So the end of September, really, home prices started to increase, and now we're starting 2020 at very elevated levels compared to the last few years, even compared to 2021, where home prices were increased greatly last year. And of course, this is causing home affordability issues, right? So let's go back to this report here. So the same data suggests that the trend continued in January, meaning home prices increased, even as interest rates began to spike. The interplay between prices and rates has significantly impacted affordability and borrower buying power in recent weeks. It now takes 25.8% of the median household income to purchase the average price home in the US, with 20% down in a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, and that's up from 22.4% that was required as of the end of Q3 in 2021. Interest rate jumps in recent weeks have pushed us and quite quickly above the long-term pre-Great Recession average of a payment to income ratio of 25%. So over a long-term period, our average is 25%. Now we have reached 25.8% in January. If interest rates continue to increase, this figure should increase as well for February. In any case, this is the worst affordability levels since 2008, according to Black Knight. We also can see this when we're looking at housing affordability on the National Association of Realtors website. They just posted this in January, middle of January last year, or this year, I should say. This is for November. So I want to point this out to you guys because we will have December's numbers in about a week, and I'll give you guys an update regarding that. But in November, keep in mind, in November, rates were really in the threes, really. Take a look at this. In November, interest rates were around 3.2% on average, right? 3.2%, now we're at 3.9% basically. So take a look at this. Compared to 1 year ago, affordability declined in November as the median family income rose by 4.7%, while the monthly mortgage payment increased 19.4%. That's almost the rate of family incomes. And keep in mind, this is for November though. So the effective 30-year fixed rate mortgage was 3.12% this November compared to 2.82% from 1 year ago. As you can see here, this is for November numbers when we had an average of 3.12%. Now rates are at 3.9%, almost at 4%. So home affordability is going to get worse as interest rates increase. Meanwhile, the median existing home price rose 14.9% from 1 year ago. And Black Knight says that their data shows home buyers are increasingly choosing to pay more points in order to buy down the rates on their mortgages to partially offset the effect of recent rate increases, further increasing the burden on today's home buyers. So if you guys aren't aware, if you go to buy a house or refinance your mortgage, you can pay your lender additional monies in order to lower your mortgage interest rate. So that's what's causing a further burden on today's home buyers, because if you want to pay down your rate, it's going to cost you money. This month's monthly mortgage monitor drills deeper into the current for sale inventory crisis as it affects on the wider market. Analyzing the data alongside industry consensus, it says this report finds the number of new homes hitting the market has run a deficit for 30 consecutive months. After seeing the shortage of active listings improve from down 63% in June 2021 to down 55% in September, the deficit has begun to worsen, climbing back to negative 60% and trending in the wrong direction as of December. In total, the U.S. housing market is currently short between 500,000 to 750,000 active listings when compared to 2017 to 2019 December inventory levels. This is a big issue. Definitely interesting times we live in right now because interest rates have been skyrocketing and we have record low housing inventory. So take a look at this. This is again for Redfin. Let's look over the past few years here. So here's active listing inventory. Just ignore the bottom here. These are percentages. So this black line here is housing inventory. So as of the end of January, we had 438,000 houses for sale in the US, at least according to Redfin here. And that's down 29.8% or 29.18%. Compared that to 2021, we had 619,000 houses for sale compared to 438. But when we look at 2017 to 2019, big differences here, right? 2020, we had 870,000 houses for sale. In 2017, 971. So for the years 2017 to 2019, we really had, or actually 2020, we had around 900 to a million houses for sale. And now we have 438,000. This is a big problem. And as I reported to you guys yesterday in my video from yesterday, mortgage applications actually increased 12% from 1 week earlier. This was reported on February 2nd for the week ending January 28th. And this is because a lot of homeowners were trying to take advantage of these low rates before they got even higher. And a lot of people decided to try to submit applications for refis. So you can see here the refinance index increased 18% from the previous week, but it was 50% lower than the same week 1 year ago. However, I just found out that the MBA just released their latest news or latest update today at the time of this video, and they noted that mortgage applications decreased 8.1% from 1 week earlier, and that's for the week ending February 4th. So instead of a 12% gain, we have a decrease of 8.1%. That's partially due to the refinance index decreasing by 7% from 1 week earlier. The MBA went on to say the following: mortgage rates continued to edge higher last week, with a 30-year fixed rate mortgage climbing to 3.83%, and then rates are followed closely to the 10-year U.S. Treasury yield, and also in response to the Federal Reserve that they're going to be tapering the purchases of mortgage-backed securities and also increasing the federal funds rate potentially up to 3 times this year in 2022. They said with rates 87 basis points higher than the same week a year ago, refinance applications continued to decrease. Purchase activity slowed after the previous week's gain. Meanwhile, the average loan size hit another all-time record high of $446,000. Activity continues to be dominated by larger loan balances as inventory remains tight for entry-level buyers. Talk about this all the time with a lack of affordable housing. As home prices are increasing, of course, that's causing record high loan balances as well. So what are you seeing in your neck of the woods? Please comment below. Also, if you got any value out of this video whatsoever, then please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate it. And also consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. Hope you have an awesome day and look forward to seeing you on the next video.